of the Canadian Northwest, on the north arm of Great Slave Lake, lies the mining town of Yellowknife. 580 miles from the nearest railroad and 285 miles from the Arctic Circle, it is a unique addition to the surrounding age-old wilderness. Visiting early Yellowknife for the first time, an airborne traveler naturally curious. What would such an isolated settlement be like? Well, even in those days, there was a movie theater, large-scale food production, and automobiles. Say, the place looked all right. Yes, Yellowknife is all right. Founded in 1935, in less than 10 years, it had grown a thriving community with most of the amenities of modern living. But how did it all come about? An old-timer recalls the very early days, and they weren't so long ago. Those days when you couldn't tell where the town ended and the wilderness began, and a friend dropping in for a drink was as likely to be a baby moose as anyone else. But even before there was a settlement, prospectors were busy combing the rocks of the Canadian Shield around Great Slave Lake. The lake had long been a center of the fur trade, but it was not until the aeroplane had greatly speeded up exploration that prospectors began to unearth the buried riches. Much mineral wealth has been discovered in the Yellowknife area, including tungsten, tin, tantalum, beryllium, and lithium. But most important of all was gold. This gold discovery proved to be the richest in the Northwest Territories, and out of it, Yellow was born. Soon, the northern stillness was broken by diamond drills. They bored deep into the earth, probing hundreds of feet below the surface. The core brought up by the drill showed the types of rock through which the drill had passed. The cores showed the ore body to be of an extent and richness to make development worthwhile, and so mining operations on a large scale were begun. Within 4 years after the first major gold strikes, there were several producing mines operating in the area. And in September 1938, the first gold brick produced in the Northwest Territories was poured at Yellowknife. In the first 13 years of production, the Great Slave Lake area yielded almost $21 million worth of gold. But how are supplies moved in and out? Transportation is a constant difficulty. Yellowknife lies 700 air miles north of Edmonton. And while the traveler's usual route to Yellowknife is by air, the all-weather Mackenzie Highway and the rail and river route carry most supplies to the gold town. The river route starts from the end of Steele at Waterways by boat down the Athabasca, portage by truck at Fort Smith, and by boat again down the Slave River and across Great Slave Lake into Yellowknife Bay. Although freight moves year-round on the highway, water transport is paramount during season. The docks at Yellowknife teem with activity from mid-June to October. Building materials of all kinds are brought in, chiefly by the water route. Most lumber is milled in the Great Slave Lake area, although plywood and other processed products are imported. Heavy machinery and electrical equipment are vital to a modern community, but the long distances and the difficulties of transportation make them a costly necessity. Most foodstuffs are also imported during the summer months in order to take advantage of the lower freight rates. Item number one in pushing back the wilderness 20th century style was building a modern airfield. Flights now run on regular schedules. Yellowknife receives airmail 5 times a week for a 4-cent stamp like else in Canada. A flight from Edmonton comes and returns every day but Sunday, carrying mining personnel, businessmen, and the technical experts that are needed in a developing area. As mining activity increased, enormous power was required to feed the hungry machines. To meet this demand, the Canadian government began construction of a new hydroelectric plant on the Snare River, 90 miles from Yellowknife, the Snare River Power Project. Later, 8,000 horsepower began flowing from the plant. Final plans called for 35,000 horsepower to light the homes and turn the wheels of the Yellowknife district. With the expansion of industry and the increasing number of people which it brought into the district, of accommodation and municipal services became urgent. Yellowknife was growing rapidly. All groups concerned with the future of Yellowknife shared enthusiastically in the new developments. Plans for a modern town site were drawn up, and building operations commenced. A large hotel, a fully equipped hospital, a modern public and high school, a new movie theater, new stores and administration buildings were speedily begun. A $1 million water and sewage system was one of the first and most important works under construction. Everybody worked in Yellowknife. The results soon became apparent. Scores of neat homes grew up along wide graveled streets, and green lawns were soon receiving loving care. Gardening is surprisingly successful at Yellowknife. Although close to the surface the ground is permanently frozen, the warm temperatures and long bright days of summer produce sturdy crops. Local gardeners operate with considerable success, and their fresh produce finds an eager market in Yellowknife kitchens. Because the growing season is so short, the love of gardens is particularly strong in Yellowknife. Here on the rim of the Arctic, people are very much at home. Yellowknife also knows how to play. A mucking contest is the small Canadian mining towns. Who can shovel a ton of muck the fastest? Which mine has the strongest team? Who'll be on the high school track team in 10 years or so? Yellowknife was the first organized municipality in the Northwest Territories. Citizens of a town born in the air age, Yellowknifers hail a plane like anyone else hails a taxi, for airplanes are always present, bringing people or taking people away. Visitors are usually reluctant to leave, but Yellowknife sends them off with an invitation and a promise. Come back often, friends. For each time you come, we hope to have a larger, finer Yellowknife awaiting you.